Hello, welcome to the Mooster Tech Podcast, episode number 5. Today is the second to the last day, well, tomorrow's last day for the Apple device performance litigation. If you had or you were in the US and was an owner of an iPhone 6, 6 Plus, 6S, 6S Plus, and or SE device that ran iOS between iOS 10.2.1 or later before December 21st, 2017, or if you are a U.S. owner of an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus device that ran iOS 11.2 or later before December 21st, 2017, you could be entitled to benefits under class action settlement. I have a link down below, but the website is that you want to go ahead and file this by tomorrow, October 6, 2020, is at smartphoneperformancesettlement.com. I'll have links down below. But again, that's smartphoneperformancesettlement.com. Over there, you'll have the opportunity, check out the important dates. Basically, everything has to be submitted online or received by October 6th. The next major date is December 4th, 2020. There's going to be a fairness hearing at around 10 a.m. And under the proposed settlement, Apple will make a minimum non-revisionary payment of $310 million and a maximum payment up to $500 million or $500 million, depending on number of claims submitted. Someone did the calculations on all this, and basically you get, I think, $25 per device. So you do have a couple of options. You could submit a claim online, which is what I recommend that you do. If you had this phone and you upgraded to the iOS of those versions before, which is pretty much most of us, you were definitely affected. Now, if you didn't notice any performance decrease, that could very well mean that you don't actually use the phone as much as some of us power users. Maybe you only have 1 or 2 apps in there, but you should still submit it anyway. Now, most of this money is probably going to end up going into the litigation fees. So, $300, it doesn't mean that just because, they might get $500 million that you would get more money. It really depends on how many devices you have. Now, how do you submit proof of that is when you do the submit a claim online form, they're going to ask you for the serial numbers of your iPhones that were pertinent in that period of time. So if you don't know what those are, you can actually log into your iCloud account, or they'll actually have a link on there. Okay, so if you don't know it, you can log in with your Apple ID information on here. It shows you that if you put in your Apple ID and just mention which device type it was, they'll actually be able to link it and look it up so that the serial numbers and stuff can be submitted for that. Now, if you have multiple ones of these, I think what you'll probably do is just submit multiple submissions for each one of these devices. And unfortunately, I didn't keep the information about my 6S device that was definitely affected by that as well. But I still have my 6 Plus, and it really, really slowed things down. I remember having problems and battery issues in that. In the end, though, Apple did replace the battery, but I think that was really a defective item. And my SE device, honestly, I didn't even use my SE device that much, but I can also submit it as well because the performance was definitely decreased. Just some background information about this. What happened was that Apple had actually throttled your device if your battery life was getting near the end or below a certain percentage. They did it so that they claim that your phone wouldn't completely shut down. And the problem with that was that it slowed down our iPhones tremendously and then made you, the thought was that it was then time for you to upgrade to the new iPhone as a result. And actually, a lot of us did do that. I was affected and I definitely did that. I definitely upgraded earlier than I thought I would because it was getting slow. I was thinking, hey, maybe the CPU wasn't keeping up, and it's time to get a new iPhone because my other one is slow. And sure enough, once I got the new iPhone, I was like, wow, this is so much better quality of life for how much I use my iPhone that I needed to do the upgrade. When it was a battery issue, and it was definitely understated by the Apple battery calibration checker or tester to let you know approximately how much battery wear that you had. So yes, so please go ahead, submit these as soon as possible. I mean, if you're listening to this right now, you really only have until tomorrow to submit it, and you probably don't have enough time to go ahead and mail in the forms. Okay, you just submit it online, find out your info, and send it in. You probably won't hear about any of this, or you probably won't even get a check until next year, though. So keep that in mind, and keep the link in mind too, because later on you might want to update your claim in case you moved, or you moved back in case you moved because of Corona. There's a whole frequently asked questions section you can go and check out, but I pretty much explained all of that to you. And really, if you don't do anything, I don't think you'll get anything out of it. But it all depends on what ends up happening in the hearing later on in December. All right, that's it for today's podcast. Please give it a like and subscribe for more. I am submitting my podcast to Apple Podcasts soon, so hopefully it'll be listed there, and this listing will be spread out to the other favorite podcast stations that you listen to as well. Thanks for listening.